The harmattan wind blew softly across the compound as Christmas lights flickered on the tall mango tree in front of the Okoro family home. Inside the expansive house, the aroma of roasted chicken, fried plantains, and spicy jollof rice filled the air. It was Christmas Eve, and every member of the Okoro family had gathered for their traditional dinner, a moment that was supposed to be filled with laughter, gifts, and the warmth of family. But this year felt different. At the head of the table sat Chief Nnamdi Okoro, a wealthy businessman in his late 60s. His crisp white agbada shimmered under the chandelier, a symbol of his success and pride. Beside him sat his wife, Ebel, calm and elegant, though her eyes carried years of quiet worry. Their 3 children were seated across from them: Chika, the eldest son and heir apparent; Adiz, the only daughter, quiet and observant; and Obinna, the youngest, whose eyes never strayed far from his phone. For years, Chief Nnamdi had built his empire from the ground up: real estate, oil, and logistics. He was a man who valued hard work and discipline, something he constantly reminded his children about. But tonight, his tone was colder, sharper. "Before we begin," Chief Nnamdi said, clearing his throat, "I have something important to announce." The clinking of cutlery ceased. All eyes turned toward him. Even the housemaid paused by the doorway, sensing tension. He scanned the table, his gaze lingering on Chika for a moment before resting on Adiz. "I have spent my entire life building this family's name. I worked under the sun, sacrificed sleep, and faced betrayal. But what I will not tolerate," his voice grew stern, "is laziness and disrespect." Adiz's brows furrowed, but she remained silent. Nnamdi continued, "I have decided that my wealth will not be divided equally among you all. In fact," he said, pausing deliberately, "one of you will receive nothing." Gasps rippled through the room. Ebel's hand flew to her chest. "What do you mean, Papa?" Chika asked, his tone trembling. "You heard me," Nnamdi replied, his voice like ice. "Some of you think you are entitled to everything simply because you bear my name. But inheritance is earned, not given. And Adiz," he fixed his gaze on his daughter, his jaw tight. "You are the one who will receive nothing." The words struck like a physical blow. Adiz blinked rapidly, her chest tightening. "Papa, what did I do?" "You left the family business when I needed you most," he snapped. "Instead of staying to help, you chased childish dreams of starting your own ventures. You have no respect for my sacrifices. Why should I reward rebellion?" Silence fell. Even Obinna put down his phone, eyes wide. Ebel placed a trembling hand on her husband's arm. "Nnamdi, this is Christmas. Must we discuss this tonight?" "This is precisely why we must discuss it," he barked. "Our family's legacy is at stake." Adiz swallowed hard. She had anticipated her father's disapproval. He'd never supported her desire to start her own company, but she hadn't expected this. For years, she had quietly built her dreams in secret, facing ridicule, doubt, and failure. She had endured sleepless nights, survived financial ruin, and clawed her way back, determined to prove herself. Now, the man whose approval she craved most was publicly disowning her. "Papa," she said, her voice shaking, "I may not have worked in your company, but I have been working. I have been building something too." Nnamdi scoffed. "Building what? A small online boutique? Selling trinkets while real empires are being built? You have no idea what it takes to succeed in this world." Chika smirked slightly, clearly enjoying his sister's humiliation. "Papa's right, Ada. You've been playing while the rest of us have been working." Adiz's hands trembled beneath the table. She wanted to scream, to tell them everything she'd endured, but she held her tongue. Ebel turned to her daughter with tears in her eyes. "Adiz, please, just let this go. It's not worth fighting over." But Adiz's resolve hardened. She had promised herself she would never beg for validation, not even from her father. Dinner resumed in awkward silence, though no one truly ate. Adiz excused herself early, retreating to the guest room. She sat on the edge of the bed, tears streaming down her face. Memories of her struggles flooded back, the days she couldn't afford food, the investors who laughed at her, the friends who abandoned her when she had nothing. And then she remembered the day everything changed, when her tech startup finally secured a major deal that catapulted it into profitability. She had kept her success quiet, partly out of fear and partly because she wanted to reveal it on her own terms. Now, she realized, the moment had come. The next morning, Christmas Day. The Okoro family gathered in the living room, gifts piled beneath a glittering Christmas tree. Nnamdi, in high spirits, handed out envelopes stuffed with cash. Chika received keys to a new car, Obinna got a generous business grant, and Ebel received an ornate necklace. When it was Adi's turn, he handed her a small, empty envelope. A reminder, he said coldly, that actions have consequences. Adi's heart pounded, but she simply smiled. Thank you, Papa. Truly. He frowned at her calmness but said nothing. As they settled to watch TV, a news anchor's voice filled the room. Breaking news this Christmas morning. Forbes has just released its annual list of the top 50 rising entrepreneurs in Africa, and a surprising new name has emerged. The room fell silent as a photograph of Adiz appeared on the screen. Everyone stared. Even Nnamdi's mouth fell open. The anchor continued, Adiz Okoro, founder and CEO of TechNova Solutions, has been recognized for her groundbreaking work in renewable energy technology. Her company, now valued at over $15 million, has been hailed as one of the fastest-growing startups on the continent. Ebel gasped. Adiz, is this true? Adiz nodded, her voice steady. Yes, Mama. I've been working quietly for years. I didn't want to announce anything until I was certain. Chika's face flushed red. 15 million? You? That's impossible. Adiz turned to her father, her expression unreadable. Papa, you said last night that inheritance is earned. Well, I've earned mine. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then, slowly, Nnamdi rose from his chair. His face was a storm of conflicting emotions, pride, anger, and something else, fear. You went behind my back, he said finally. You built this without me? Adiz nodded. Because you never believed in me. But I believed in myself. The silence was suffocating. Even the Christmas lights seemed to flicker uncertainly. At last, Ebel spoke softly. Nnamdi, perhaps this is a blessing. Our daughter has shown she can stand on her own. Shouldn't we be proud? But Nnamdi's pride was wounded. His entire life had been about control, about molding his children into his image. Adiz's independence felt like betrayal. You think money makes you powerful? He hissed. You are nothing without this family name. Adiz's eyes blazed. No, Papa. I am everything because I refuse to let your name define me. The living room felt suffocating. The once festive atmosphere had been replaced by a heavy silence. The Christmas tree's twinkling lights now seemed mocking, illuminating the tension that gripped the Okoro family. Chief Nnamdi sat back down slowly, his fists clenched. His empire had always been his pride, his proof to the world that he was a man of strength and vision. Now, in mere minutes, Adiz had shattered that illusion. Ebel, ever the peacemaker, clasped her hands tightly and spoke softly, Adiz, my child, this is incredible news. You've achieved so much on your own. Can we not celebrate this together as a family? But Adiz's gaze remained fixed on her father. Mama, I would love to, but Papa made it clear last night that I don't belong. I was told I would receive nothing, that I am nothing. Her words cut through the room like a blade. Chika, still reeling, couldn't hide his bitterness. You've been hiding millions from us, Adiz. While Papa has been working day and night for this family, you've been building an empire in secret. That's betrayal. Adiz turned to him sharply. Betrayal? When Papa refused to support me, I had no choice but to go alone. Do you know how many times I was laughed at, denied loans, and told my idea would fail? Not once did you or Papa offer to help." Obinna, who had been quiet until now, spoke hesitantly. "So, does this mean you're richer than Papa?" The question landed like a grenade. Nandi's face darkened. "Richer than me? Don't be foolish, boy. She's just a child playing at business." But even as he spoke, doubt crept into his voice. Adi's tone was calm, almost too calm. "Papa, you've built something remarkable, but times are changing. The world is moving toward technology and sustainability. TechNova isn't a game, it's the future. And I intend to lead it." Ebel's eyes filled with tears. She could see the pride beneath Adi's defiance, but also the hurt. "This is not about money anymore," Adiz continued, her voice trembling slightly. "It's about respect. You didn't just deny me inheritance, you denied my worth." Nandi rose again, his voice thundering. "You think you can lecture me in my own house? Without me, you wouldn't even have the education that allowed you to dream this foolish dream." Adiz's lips quivered, but she stood firm. "And without me, you wouldn't have a daughter who will carry the Okoro name into the future. Whether you accept it or not, I am a force in my own right." The family was stunned into silence. Suddenly, Chika slammed his fist on the table. "Enough of this. Papa, you cannot allow her to make a fool of this family. She should hand over her company so it stays under our control." Adiz laughed bitterly. "Hand over my company? After you both mocked me for years? Never." Nandi turned to his son. "Chika, sit down." His voice was low but dangerous. "No, Papa," Chika said, his voice rising. "You've always treated Adiz differently, giving her too much freedom. Look at the result. She's gone rogue. If she doesn't give us that company, then she should be cut off completely." Adiz's chest tightened. She realized then that this wasn't just about inheritance anymore. It was about power, and her brother would stop at nothing to claim it. Ebel's voice broke as she pleaded, "Please, let's not tear each other apart. It's Christmas." But the Okoro family was already at war. The rest of Christmas Day passed like a storm cloud lingering over the Okoro home. Adiz retreated to the guest room, her phone buzzing with congratulatory messages from friends, business partners, and even journalists eager for an interview. Yet none of it brought her joy. The people she wanted most to be proud of her, her family, were instead plotting against her. In the living room, Chika paced furiously while Obinna sat slouched on the sofa, chewing his lip nervously. Ebel sat quietly, whispering prayers under her breath. Chief Namdi sat stiffly in his armchair, staring into space as though wrestling with a demon. Finally, Chika broke the silence. "Papa, we need to act now. If Adiz keeps control of that company, she'll overshadow us all. People are already talking online, her face is everywhere. Do you want the world to think she is the one carrying the Okoro name forward while we fade into irrelevance?" Obinna shifted uncomfortably. "But, she's our sister. Maybe we can work with her instead of fighting." Chika snapped, "You're naive, Obinna. Power is never shared, it's taken. Papa knows this." Nandi didn't respond immediately. His pride was wounded, his authority challenged. His daughter's independence felt like betrayal. And yet, deep inside, he couldn't deny he was impressed by her determination. Ebel reached for his hand. "My husband, please. Don't let this destroy us. Adiz only wanted your approval." Nandi's jaw tightened. Approval must be earned. Before Ebel could reply, Adiz entered the room, her expression cold and unreadable. "I see you're having a family meeting, without me." Chika scoffed. "You've made it clear you're no longer part of this family." Adiz's eyes narrowed. I am part of this family, whether you like it or not. But I won't stand by while you try to control me or my company." The air grew tense, thick with unspoken threats. Then, in a calculated move, Chica revealed his plan. "Adiz, either you merge TechNova with Papa's companies and hand over controlling shares, or I'll go public with certain information about your past failures." Adiz froze. "What are you talking about?" Chica smirked. "The early debts, the rejected investors, the rumors about a failed partnership. If the world finds out, your precious Forbes recognition will crumble." Abel gasped. "Chica! She's your sister." But Adiz's fear quickly turned to fury. "You would ruin me just to satisfy your ego?" "It's business," Chica replied coldly. "And in business, family doesn't matter." At that moment, Nandi stood. His booming voice silenced everyone. "Enough!" His chest rose and fell as he looked between his children. "I have spent my life building an empire, thinking I was protecting my family. But today, I see clearly, I was building walls between you instead." He turned to Chica. "Your hunger for power disgusts me. You would blackmail your own blood?" Chica's mouth opened, but no words came. Then Nandi faced Adiz, his voice softening. "Adiz, I was wrong. I thought controlling you would keep you safe. I see now that my pride blinded me. You don't need my inheritance, you've built your own legacy. And for that, I am proud." Tears filled Adiz's eyes, but she held them back. "Papa, I never wanted your wealth. I only wanted you to see me." For a moment, it seemed reconciliation was possible. But before anyone could breathe, Chica stormed out, slamming the door so hard the tree ornaments rattled. The room fell silent. Nandi sat heavily, his voice breaking. "If we are not careful, greed will destroy this family." Adiz nodded slowly. "Or perhaps, Papa, it already has." As the sun rose on Boxing Day, Adiz packed her bags to return to her city, her mind heavy with sorrow and determination. She left without a grand farewell, knowing some wounds take years to heal. From the balcony, Nandi watched her car disappear down the road. For the first time, he understood that true inheritance wasn't land, money, or titles, it was the values he passed on. And somewhere along the way, he had failed. The Okoro family's empire still stood, but its foundation had been cracked forever. The lesson lingered: greed divides, pride blinds, but love, when chosen, can rebuild.